Coming to you from the greatest city in the world, this is the #1 showbiz podcast. It's Talk for Two. Here's your host, Matt Bailey.
Thank you so much, Gary. Welcome in to another episode of Talk for Two, and thank you to our season sponsors, Axtel Expressions and the Tangent Bound Network. You know, go check them out, tangentboundnetwork.com, axtel.com. Mark, Steve, I love you both. I want everybody, go check them out. This is a really, really cool day. The master of magic disguised, Michael Carbonaro, host of TruTV's Carbonaro Effect, joins us. You've seen Michael do magic tricks for unsuspecting lay people in hysterical situations on his TV show, which returned, by the way, this past Wednesday, March 23rd. But now, Carbonaro steps out of the television and onto the stage in a brand new live show that begins touring the nation next week. The tour will make stops in our region. First at the Borgata, Atlantic City on April 2nd. Then the following day, the 3rd, Michael Carbonaro brings his antics to the Santander Performing Arts Center in Reading, Pennsylvania. However, the tour kicks off appropriately on April Fool's Day in Northfield, Ohio. But you Reading, Pennsylvania people, that's my home turf. You all better go. You better represent. Please make sure you go see Michael wherever you are in the country. And if you're listening and you're not in our region, you can head over to michaelcarbonaro.com to purchase tickets and find out if Michael's coming to a city near you, because I'm sure he is. Click the link in the show notes to be taken directly to michaelcarbonaro.com. Mr. Carbonaro tells us what we can expect from his stage show. We also discuss his early passion for magic, his time with Jay Leno, and what exactly gaining notoriety and fame has meant to him. Here now to tell us what magic taught him about shaving cream, our interview with Michael Carbonaro. Michael Carbonaro, welcome to Talk for Two. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, Matt. Hi.
Hi. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This is going to be fun. I love your show, and you're going on tour in the spring. You're going on tour in April. Can you tell us a little bit about the tour?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. My way into magic was through live performances. You know, TV show is new for me. Past 2 years now, having the show, the Carbonaro Effect.
Yes.
It's been awesome, and I haven't gotten a ton of time to really get back out there and perform live, which is what I love doing. So I've woven in some dates now. So I have a lot of people asking if I can come and perform shows, and I'm just thrilled to get out there and meet the fans and get to perform magic live and have a blast.
That's wonderful. What do you miss most about performing magic live when you're taping the show?
It's kind of funny, you know, like with this show. It's really the conceit of it is really funny that no one knows I'm a magician,
right?
But you know, with the live show, I just love, you know, that's out there. Everybody knows I'm a magician, so it's really fun to be able to just say it. I'm a magician, and I'm going to show you some stuff, and I love getting that one-on-one reaction with people where I can bring people up from the audience and have them help out with some of my stuff and get to play with them live. And there's really just nothing like that roar of a live crowd when everybody's just sort of in tune together, and there really is nothing quite like it.
There really isn't. So let's go back to that beginning. I got to know, because you've done some other television work and film work too, what came first, magic or acting for you? What interest came first?
Well, the answer is neither. You know, I was sure when I was 13 years old that I was going to be a special effects artist. I love, you know, horror movies, and Halloween is my favorite holiday. I love monsters and makeup, and I would buy a lot of makeup supplies and special effects supplies at this local magic shop. Oh, wow. And it's kind of funny how those, you know, magic shops and makeup, it's like kind of under that same umbrella. You always find like costumes and masks and magic.
Mm-hmm. Which shop was, I'm going to interrupt. Which shop was it? Because we got a lot of magicians that listen. It
was in Long Island, which is where I'm from. It was the magic shop in Hicksville.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Yeah. And this is a lot of magic now when you're buying it, it's like online stuff, but it was great to be able to, have a bunch of friends there, the guys behind the counter who would just hang out, show you tricks, and then teach them to you right there. But I started going there to buy makeup supplies, and then I guess I just sort of drifted over to the other side of the store and saw them performing tricks, and I was really interested in that too. And as I started buying some tricks and practicing tricks, I really loved performing. I loved not just the magic of it, but getting to kind of relate to people and hang out and be funny and talk. And I really found my way into performing, acting and performing through magic, which was getting to perform for people.
That's wonderful.
So my mom suggested, she was like, why don't you get some stuff together and start performing birthday parties? So I, at 13 years old, put together a show, and I went around doing birthday parties from house to house, and really got to perform hundreds and hundreds of shows just in front of all different kinds of audiences.
That's wonderful. Now I got to know, once you got into magic, who were your magic influences? Who really inspired you?
Copperfield was my total hero, and still, there hasn't been another real magic superhero showman the way that there is David Copperfield. I just ate it up. I loved that he would play with the crowd, and everything was perfectly timed to music, and the illusions were mind-blowing, and I just ate it up. I couldn't wait every year for his TV special to come on, and I think I really learned about how to perform magic from just kind of emulating David Copperfield as a kid. It was like, oh wow, he can get up in front of an audience and improvise and be funny and have fun and do magic, and I can do that. So I started, doing that. And I really kind of found my own voice through that framework of being a magic showman. And for me, as a kid, it was seeing Copperfield do that. I also today, I love Penn and Teller. They've been huge influences too. I saw them. And I'm good friends with them too, which is fun. And I just love their wit and magic, and they're real heroes.
Absolutely. They are heroes to me. They are heroes to everyone, just as Copperfield is. First billionaire magician it's looking like he's going to be. Isn't that funny?
I know. Heard about that.
Yeah. Now, I want to go back because I've been watching, I prepare, I do research, I do the interviews. I'd seen this before, but I went back and I watched your shaving cream video. And it's funny that you say you started in the special effects side. So the shaving cream routine the shaving dream, did that, is that kind of from that world of the special effects makeup? Is that influence coming in there when you were designing that effect, that routine?
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone who's listening who hasn't seen it before, it's like a live performance art piece where I'm in a towel and I cover myself in shaving cream and sculpt different characters right on my face with shaving cream. Like from a devil to a skeleton to an old man, all just morphing from character to character. And you're exactly right, Matt. That came from my love of special effects. And that act, it's funny that it's even an act, because it actually was just something I used to goof off and do. I would watch, TV shows where they would show behind the scenes of special effects, and I saw them working with this stuff where they put it on somebody's face and sculpt it into like a monster's nose, or, make ears really pointy. And I didn't have any makeup supplies then, so I just found my father's shaving cream, in the bathroom cabinet all by myself. And I was like, well, I could kind of make something out of this. And I started putting shaving cream on my face. I never told anybody. It was just something I would do it every now and then just for fun. In front of the mirror, I would sculpt monsters on my face with shaving cream. And I totally forgot about it. I went, gosh, it was years after I did that as a kid that it came back to me during a course in NYU. I went to NYU for drama and acting. And we, one of the parts of the program, I was doing a self-scripting class where you kind of think back to your childhood and remember things you used to do. And we were looking to turn a piece, you were going to make an art piece out of just some reflections from childhood. And I suddenly remembered that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that thing that I used to do with shaving cream. I'm like, what was that? So I started playing with it again. And that's when it really turned into an act. And I was like, yeah, I set it to music, and I went from character to character. And that act took me all over the world. And this is before, way before Carbonaro Effect. I got to perform that on Jimmy Kimmel Live show, and I performed it over in Russia and Berlin and in France.
Yes.
And it's great because it's magical. It really is. And that's like going back to saying, how special effects and magic are under that one umbrella. It's a very magical act. You're seeing these live transformations happen, and your jaw's open, and you're like, whoa, what's going on here? And it's magic without magic tricks. There's no trick behind it. It's just a very magical thing, and falling right back into that world of monsters.
So let me follow up with this, see if you can follow the logic of this question. What did the success of that act teach you about putting together routines where they really are magic tricks?
It might go the other way because, by then I had already scripted and sculpted magic routines out. So I think my education in putting together dramatic pieces, whether they were, scenes in school or magic trick performances, I think learned all of that as I was developing the shaving cream act into an act.
That makes
sense, I was
yeah.
kind of taking something raw from when I was a kid and kind of turning it into a performance art piece that had a beginning, a middle, and an end. So it really worked the other way. And I would say, yeah. I mean, I think one question I get so much from people who want to be magicians, and they're like, what's the best way to learn how to be a magician? And there's tons of outlets for learning magic tricks, but really, I recommend drama classes and acting and dance and movement and all of the things that bring out the performing arts. That is a way, because magic tricks are just tricks,
Exactly.
but to turn them into live theater and a performance and to be a showman, the more you can learn about theater and the arts, the more your magic will be enriched.
It certainly, it helps to understand dramatic structure and theater, like you were saying. Switching gears, let's talk about what kind of shows would you perform? Who would you perform for right before the Carbonaro Effect? You got the show, and how did they find you to bring the show to TruTV?
I had moved from New York to California. I had done a whole bunch of crazy shows in New York, and I did some television in New York and a few off-Broadway plays, and decided to make the move out to California. And I was performing a lot at the Magic Castle in Hollywood, and I got tied in with that group, and I was performing there. Every month I'd be doing a week down at the castle, and people would come and see me perform, and it ended up getting me a meeting with the Tonight Show. And I went, and on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno was the first time that I attempted putting magic into a scenario that didn't include the audience knowing that I was a magician. And that was really the trick and the conceit, was what would happen if you put a magician into the world without the people who are witnessing the magic knowing that there's a magician at work. And it was really successful. I had a great time with Jay, and he let me really just play and experiment. And I did 8 segments with Jay Leno on the Tonight Show, and it was through that work that a producer, Simon Fields, from he was huge resume of some of these really magical music videos too. He's got a bunch of films and TV stuff too. But what drew me to his resume was really, he did he was the producer of Aha's "Take on Me" music video, and he did Sledgehammer from Peter Gabriel. These really magical visual music videos, and we hit it off right. He got what was great about this scenario, and we talked about how to put it into a half-hour format, and he had worked with TruTV before, and it just worked. We hit it off. We shot a pilot, and it's been great.
That's wonderful. Are you, because the conceit of the show is it's people that come in and don't know you're a magician. I know that you're getting into disguises and trying to disguise your look. Are you enjoying the fame that comes with it, despite the fact that it kind of makes your job a little tougher?
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it really is shocking, when somebody recognizes me just out in life, like if I'm at a grocery store, not even shooting the show, but just at a coffee shop or a grocery store, and somebody comes over and they're like, know the show, and they're like, I'm still not used to that. It's still really bizarre, because I've been so focused on doing the show that when I'm out in regular life and someone's like, I know who you are, I'm like, you do? I'm like, oh, right, of course, you do, yeah, I guess, because there's a show. And But no, so I'm not I'm not used to that at all. It's fun. It's great. I mean, I love if one of the things I love about performing live so far, and I've gotten to do a whole bunch of live shows already before the tour even kicks off. It's just getting to meet people after the show and have them tell me. I love hearing what people enjoy about the Carbonaro Effect TV show. And it's amazing. Everybody has a different trick that's their favorite, and people swear to their favorites. And it's so nice to hear. More than anything, really, I love hearing how they get to watch the show as a family. They're like, I've heard it a lot. People say there's no other show that myself and my husband and my 14-year-old and my 7-year-old and my 21-year-old and grandma all like gather around the TV together to watch.
It's a new form of family entertainment. It is in the same genre and of my mind for what you're doing of the same quality as a Burnett show or things of that era where it's that kind of variety has gone kind of by the wayside, and we go out into the real world now and we do it. It's just fun is what it is.
Yeah, and I love that. And I owe that to just performing magic live when I would perform for, parties and events and audiences at comedy clubs, for family functions. It's just working in front of families for so long. I guess there's just a sense of I'm not a mean-spirited person, and I know that's reflected in the show. And I know there's a lot of prank shows out there that are they're mean. It's really easy to be mean. Like, oh, we can make somebody angry, or let's see how long they can go before they scream, or whatever.
Yeah,
all these like mean angles, and I just cringe at that. So I love that people really caught on. People feel that. They feel that it's in a good spirit and it's all in fun. And my live show is exactly like that too. So that, bring the family. It's totally, there's only a few dates I'm doing and only by the venue, I think, because a couple of them are casinos that it's 21 and over. But mostly all of the shows are all ages, which is great because we get everyone.
Well, fill us in. I'm glad you mentioned that because just to clarify, you are doing the Borgata in Atlantic City. We're recording this. I'm in New York, so I want to make sure I mention the East Coast dates. Is the Atlantic City one a family one that you can do at the Borgata?
Yes, the Borgata is. Yes, it is. Even though I know despite that one being a casino venue, that one is an all-ages show. The Borgata is not 21 and over. You can bring anybody.
Wonderful. And the one I'm hoping I can get to is Santander Performing Arts Center on April 3rd of this year. Tell us a little bit more about what your fans can expect from Michael Carbonaro live, because they are so used to seeing you on television doing a one-on-one thing.
Oh, I mean, they can expect to come and be surprised. They can, and to get to play along in the show too. I mean, there'll be things you'll know are going on. There'll be things you didn't expect to happen. Love bringing people up onto the stage and actually help out. And it's full of laughs, full of surprises, and really wild, mind-blowing stuff. And some stuff like you would see on the TV show, and some stuff like, routines that are more magic-based, where I guess the kind of routines you could only do if the audience knows you're a magician, and also times when I try and twist that up too, where you start to lose control of your understanding of whether there's something was planned or not planned, or really where the line between reality and illusion is.
Yes, that's wonderful. I have last two questions for you. My first last question comes from a mutual friend of ours, Christopher Weed, and he he told me to ask about the influence of Tannen's Magic Camp as you were growing up in the art.
Oh my gosh, it was a miracle, and it still is, and I still go out there. Tannen's Magic Camp is a week-long, all-intensive, eat, sleep, drink magic for kids, and up to ages, I think 17, I think is the cutoff age. It goes anywhere from like 7 to 17. And it used to be, the original place where the camp was right where I grew up in Long Island. Mm-hmm. And magic is pretty much an isolated art. It's a solo thing. Most people learn with a magic set alone by themselves, practicing in front of a mirror or reading magic books and rehearsing by yourself so that you can then bring your secrets out in front of somebody and show them a trick. So Magic Camp was a way that you meet all of these kids, and you make friends who are all interested in the same thing. And I mean, it is intense and amazing. It completely shifted how I thought about magic, and just to show the extent of the influence on it, the Carbonaro Effect. I've got a team of 5 magicians that I work with on the show who we come up with ideas together and methods and secrets and how we're going to do it. And sometimes they get to play secret guest star roles in the show. And those guys that are in my show right now and on my magic team are friends that I met when I was a kid at Magic Camp.
That is wonderful. That's just, There it is. There's the advertisement. That's all you need. I tell you, I'm sorry. I actually missed the mark personally when I was growing up, but and that's one of my greatest regrets. I kind of, before I became aware of it, I grew out of it, but grew out of the age range. But that's wonderful, and I've heard so many stories like that. And we're going to let you go in a second, but this is the question I never like to let my guests escape without asking. What is the one thing you would say to up-and-coming magicians? One piece of advice.
Well, we may have covered it already. It's outside of your magic work, really enrich yourself with other performing arts, dance, music, acting, get involved in a local play, even public speaking if you're not interested in that kind of thing, but any kind of theatrics and performance that you could add that's non-magic based will only enrich your magical performances.
That is wonderful, and that's a wonderful piece of advice. We did touch on that earlier and can't stress it enough. The Carbonaro Effect airs on TruTV, and make sure to look out for Michael coming to a city near you really soon. Check out michaelcarbonaro.com. Michael, thank you so much.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Michael. It was great having you. I really hope this tour goes well, and who knows, maybe we'll run into each other at Tannen's in the near future. Everybody, go to michaelcarbonaro.com to see when Michael will be in your hometown. The tour heads south after his Reading, PA show. And make sure to tune in to the Carbonaro Effect on TruTV. The 4th season just began last week. That's it for us this week. Thank you again to our season sponsors, Axtel Expressions and the Tangent Bound Network. Stay tuned to talkfor2.com as well as Twitter and Facebook for more from the #1 performing arts podcast. From there, you can access our Amazon guest shop where I've handpicked some of my favorite works from our guests. Reach out by emailing talkfor2cast@gmail.com and talk about us on social media using #TalkFor2. Signing off for Talk for Two, I'm Matt Bailey, reminding everyone out there to keep talking for two.
You can hear more show business interviews with the stars at talkfor2.com.